Hey DIY Clubbers, we're back with another From Page to Plate, and this time we're making meatloaf a la mom. Stay tuned to see how it turns out. Make sure you start out with adding all of your vegetables to a strainer. That way it makes for easy cleaning when you take it over to the sink and will allow for proper drainage. Of course, you're going to dry your vegetables off before you begin cutting, but this helps. Next, we're going to quarter our potatoes and get them prepped for baking. And then once you get everything all quartered, you'll make sure you add them to your baking sheet. I always cover mine with parchment paper just to help with easier cleanup. And we'll make sure we get these potatoes nice and seasoned. You always want to make sure that it's just a single layer on the baking sheet. That way all of the potatoes will cook fully and there won't be any that are still raw. Next, we're going to prep our shallot. We're going to just make sure we remove all of the skin off, and then we're going to dice this finely. And you want to have kind of small pieces just so that you don't have huge chunks in the meatloaf. Once everything is diced, you'll just prep and set that aside, and you'll put that in a bowl. Lastly, we'll go ahead and mince up our garlic and our parsley, and then we'll set them to the side. So to the onions, I added the beef stock concentrate, the garlic, half of the parsley, and then some salt and pepper. And then I went ahead and added in my beef. I try to drain the blood off before I add it to my mixture. But once I add the ground beef in with the onions and the spices, I go ahead and mix until I have everything combined. If you want to put on gloves, please feel free to. I just went ahead and mixed with my hand. Then I went ahead and separated the entire beef mixture into 2 separate loaves. That is what will create my 2 meatloaves for dinner. And once I went ahead and got them shaped, I remembered that I did not cut up my green beans. So I went back and cut off the tips of all of the green beans. These were washed and in the strainer, and I just forgot to go ahead and prep them. So this is me doing that now. Then I go ahead and season the green beans. I add a drizzle of olive oil over top of them and season to my liking, and then put them in the oven. So while everything is in the oven baking, I begin to prepare my gravy. I start by melting my butter, adding in the last bit of my onions, and I will cook them until they start to brown and kind of bubble up in the pan. Normally takes about 3 to 4 minutes, but just depending on your preference, of course. These are just suggestions. So I continue to cook the onions, and then I add in the flour, and then I add in the water. And like I said, since I did not have the stock concentrate, I just added a little bit more water and cooked it until the gravy formed. Once everything is done, I set it out to rest, and then I plate it on up. These little meatloaves are so cute. The recipe is extremely simple. This is something that I have actually reordered off of HelloFresh because I like this meal so much. And it doesn't take a very long time to complete. And it just is very tasty. And then, of course, you saw, I don't think I recorded this piece, but I did add ketchup to the top of the meatloaves before I put them in the oven. And then that's why you see the ketchup kind of baked down onto the meatloaves. And I just went ahead and separated the portions out for the 2 plates. Then I'm going to go ahead and put on a spoonful or so of gravy on top of the meatloaf. And there you have it, meatloaf a la mom. This recipe came out so well. Like I said before, I have ordered this same kit so many times with HelloFresh since I have begun ordering, and it has completely become a favorite of the house. And look how easy it just cuts. The meat is cooked so well, and it still has so much flavor. Definitely give it a thumbs up.